Good everyone, welcome to today's video, and today we're doing a ARB Daily Easy Task Advice video where we're going to be talking about the individual daily tasks that are considered easy in the game and going to be discussing the best ways that you can really do these. Before we begin, obviously you'll probably notice in the bottom right as well before I begin, I'm actually recording this after the tank one, which you're seeing later, because for some reason my brain decided, you know what, we're going to do the tank one first and then we'll do the plane one, but it doesn't matter. One last thing before we begin. Well, actually, there's two things before we begin. I would greatly appreciate if people shared this video. This is because I want people to really learn a bit more about how to do these daily tasks easily, because a lot of people do actually struggle with these. And the second thing is, if you are struggling to do some of these and you need some assistance, we are more than happy to open our Discord server for you. So in the description below there is a link to our Discord, which is called the United Kingdom, not because I'm a Brit, but you get my point. And essentially we're going to be helping each other out in there, and well, come along and we'll see if we can give you a hand. So let's get started with high performance. Win required number of battles getting fighter rescuer or bomber rescuer in each of them. You only need one victory for this, and of course one of the fighter rescuer or bomber rescuer. This can be done in pretty much anything as long as you stay near your team. Now, generally speaking, you want to avoid German teams like the Plague, because half of them cannot shoot worth a toffee, and most of them die before they do anything because they go ahead and turn fight Spitfires. But generally speaking, as long as you stay near your team and support them, you should have this done without even trying. And yeah, this is pretty simple to do. It's just you need the win, which can obviously be limiting in some nations. Next is higher than the sky. Play a battle taking required place in the team. Place 1 to 3. You need one game. Any sort of ground attacker like a Yak-2, an IL-2 1941, A36, just to name a couple. Or an OP fighter like the BF-109F1, these, let me think, the standard LA5 is pretty strong as well, but generally speaking, anything that can just take 1 to 3 and still stay in the fight and not get you killed can pretty much get this done, and unlike the first task, you don't need a win, so don't worry about that. Next is on and on, destroy player vehicles using a fighter, 2 kills. Pretty much anything can do this. Anything that kills and is a fighter at rank 2 can do this. You could do this if you really want to in something like an MS-410, which isn't exactly an amazing aircraft, but you catch my drift. Next is Winged Ally. Help allied players to destroy the enemies, 1 assist. Bots do count for this, otherwise crit the target and leave it for teammates. Again, this can be done in anything. You'll notice with these ARB tasks, they can be done in pretty much anything. Now, what I mean by bots do count for this is you can crit a bot and then leave it alone, but generally speaking this can be a bit buggy because sometimes you'll get kill credit even if your teammate blows at the Kingdom Come. But generally speaking, you will eventually get this done by just going for the bots if you really want to. But as long as you crit the target and leave it for your team, this will be done in no time. Next is Meteor Shower. Destroy ground and waterborne targets using a strike aircraft. 5 targets. And as you can see, I've listed a rather good amount of vehicles that you can choose. IL-2, A36, Firefly/Firebrand, Kai-109 if you like a little bit of pain, FC-20 Biz, HS-129. There's obviously many more you can do this in, like, well, in fact, no, the Yak-2 can't actually do this, I just remembered, that's a rank 1. So ignore the higher than the sky part, because, well, the part with the Yak-2, because that thing's a rank 1, I just remembered that. That proves the caffeine is starting to kick in. But generally speaking, it's that sort of thing that can get this done, and you only need 5, so you could probably do this in 1 pass if you're accurate enough. Next is Activist. Win required number of battles with needed activity percent, 80% or more activity. 1 victory. If you really need an easy win, use the MiG-315 and thank me later. Or the MiG-334, because by the time this video comes out, the patch would have dropped and given that thing 200 cannon rounds per gun, which it used to be 100, so I'm looking forward to re-recording the Talisman series episode on that thing, because I initially was going to do that, but then of course they announced that it's going to be 400 rounds, not 200, so I'm looking forward to dragging that thing out again when obviously the patch drops, and well, the video will probably be done by the time this video goes out anyway. Next is Clear Sky. Win required number of battles with 50% or more activity, 2 victories. Anything really works here as long as you can net a win. Like, you can do this in a bomber if you really want. And as long as you get a victory, this is pretty simple. Obviously, if you're struggling, do make sure to join the Discord, and we will give you a hand with this. Next is War Eagle. Play a battle destroying required number of enemy aircraft, 1 or more aircraft kills in 2 games. Very simple. Pretty much anything can do this. I know I'm repeating myself a lot. But as long as you can kill 1 plane, and I mean that, just 1, it can't be a bot before anyone tries to do this against a bot. It cannot be done on a bot. This is one of the few tasks that you cannot do this on a bot for. So just bear that in mind. But generally speaking, as long as you can kill at least 1 plane, you can do this. Heck, if you really want to, you can do this in a Ki-49, which when's the last time you saw one of them sods? But you get my point. Generally speaking, anything that can kill something can do this. If you really want to be dirty, MiG-315, or if you extremely want to be dirty, BF-109F1. Job done. Next is Crown of Laurel. Win a battle, take a required place in the team, place 1 to 4. 1 victory. Simple to do, anything that's consistent. Obviously the winning can be a little bit difficult for some, so do make sure to get a squad mate if you need it. But generally you just need to focus on supporting your team by getting kills, assists, ground targets, and heck, if your plane can do it, load up some bombs and start bombing bases if you really have to. Just anything to get as many points to make sure you can obviously do this. You obviously do need the win, and you do need to keep that place. So don't be a dick and team kill someone over this, because I have seen people do that. Don't be a dick, just make sure to support your team and go from there. Next is Wing to Wing. Win required number of battles, getting teamwork or supporting fire in each of them. You only need 1 of these victories, and you only need 1 of either. Stay near your auto squad mate. If you struggle, join the Discord and we'll help you out, because you'll have this done in no time at all. All you really need to do is for teamwork, you just need to kill something whilst your squad mate is nearby. And supporting fire is you get an assist whilst helping out your squad mate. Simple as that. Next is Aerial Superiority. Play required number of battles where any of the streaks from the list has been received. Hero of the Sky, Thunderer, Tsunami, Survivor, Mission Maker, Punisher, Wingman, Terror of the Sky, Anti-Mech, Bulletproof, Balancer, and On Hand. This one's pretty simple to do. I'd actually suggest you go for Thunderer. I've listed quite a few rank 3s here because rank 3s are easy to do this in because they tend to have more ammo. But generally speaking, the IL-2M, the ME410A1U4, the BU-7A2, the SM91/SM92, and the Bowfighter Mark 21 are more than capable of doing this task, and heck, you can do this in a fighter if you want. I mean, I wouldn't advise it, because your team will probably call you tanker trash, but, you know, it's your decision. But generally speaking, this can be done in pretty much anything, as long as it can farm ground targets, so heck, you could do this in a Ki-49, like I said earlier, if you really want to. You might struggle, but you get my point. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm ripping on the Ki-49s a lot. I remember spading all of them, because yes, Joe spaded all of them. And no, I didn't spade them when they were 3-7. I spaded the last one when it was 4-3, so yeah, I know how that feels. Anyway, moving on from the terrible bombers to the mass destruction task. Destroy ground and water pond targets using a bomber, and I'm going to bring up the Ki-49 again. 5 targets, simple to do. Anything that's rank 2 and is a bomber can do this. You can do this in the Ki-49 if you wish. I mean, the bomb load sucks, but sure. But yeah, anything that's a bomber and can bomb a ground target can do this. I mean, yeah, you could do this in a frigging Condor if you want. And again, the Condor is rank 2, so if you really want to suffer, you could do this in a Condor. Don't do it in a Condor. Seriously, I'm being serious now. Do not do this in a Condor. Do not do this in a Ki-49. You will suffer. I mean, you might get it done, but that's not the point. You'll still suffer. Jokes aside now, because we're going to go back to being serious for the last 2. Eagle's Eye. Make required number of critical hits, 3 crits. Anything that gets easy crits, like 50 cals, light MGs can also do this. One other thing I didn't note on the notes here is you can do this on bots. Bots do count for this, so just make sure to do that, because trust me, it's going to make a difference. And if you get a map where you have like the M4A2 Shermans and things like that, if you manage to crit them on like the engine deck or something, or take out a crew member, I believe that also counts. So, pretty simple, isn't it? Next is, and finally I should say, is Big Game. Destroy enemy bases, you only need one base. And nearly every rank 2 bobber can do this, and no, the Kai 49 cannot, I don't think. But generally speaking, anything that is pretty quick, can get in, get out with no trouble, and has enough bomb load to kill a base can do this. I've made a couple of suggestions there. The B6N1 is one of my favourites to do it in, and the TBF1C is another valid option as it only takes 3 bombs on most maps. But there we go, that is the end of the AirRB Daily Easy Task. Obviously you would have seen this before the Tank RB Daily Task. Obviously I'm recording this after the Tank RB, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, I hope that's helped you out. If you have any suggestions for vehicles that you could do any of these tasks for, make sure to put them in the comments below and everything. And obviously do not forget to share this video because that will greatly help out and greatly help others as well. Anywho, I'm going to leave you all to it. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the AirRB Daily Easy Task, and I will see you all on the next one.